निर्विशेष कृष्ण प्रभु नित्यानंद द्वैता शिवा Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, भक्त वृंद की जय। वांछा कल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिंधु व्यवैच पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो। Hare Krishna devotees, thank you for joining. I think other devotees will join here. We have Sridhar Prabhu in person, and we hope to join few more devotees. And online we have Punya Prabhu, Shiva Kiran Prabhu, and Balu Prabhu.
Hare
Thank
Krishna Prabhu. We'll be
Hare.
joining in person, Prabhu, in few minutes.
Yeah, you will be joining in person. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
on the way, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Oh, great, great. So we'll do the Manglacharan prayers and then we'll resume our class. Okay. I think everybody online also you can chant with me. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapādakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadhutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha हे कृष्ण करुणा
कृष्ण
सिंधु
सिंधु
दीनबन्धो
दीनबन्धो
जगत्पते
जगन्नाथ
गोपेशा
गोपेशा
गोपिका
गोपिका कान्ता
राधा कान्ता
राधाकान्त
नमोऽस्तुते
नमोऽस्तुते
तप्त काञ्चन
तप्त काञ्चन
गौराङ्गे
गौराङ्गी
राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि
प्रणमामि
हरिप्रिये
हरिप्रिया
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभवेय च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे हरे। शिला प्रपात की जय। गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। जय गौर निताई की जय। जय निताई निमाई चैतन्य सुंदर की जय। जय सच्चिनंद निताई प्रेम की जय। जय शिला प्रपात की जय। हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, Dandavad, and thank you very much for joining, taking your precious time off your day-to-day activities of your life, coming here and joining me studying the weekly systematic study of Bhagavad Gita. And today again we will resume our study here. We are on chapter 7, knowledge of absolute. Also in Sanskrit it's called Jnana Vijnana Yoga. The chapter has total 5 sections. We have so far covered more than like 3.5 sections. And we have covered in all previous classes about the glory of knowledge about Krishna in first 3 verses, then knowledge about Lord Krishna's energy, which is material energies, uh, and also living entities is his Tathastha Shakti, marginal energy. Now, we also discussed surrender into Krishna. Four type of jivas surrender into Krishna, and four type of jivas does not surrender into Krishna. And also, who are the best? Gyani is the best. Now, we also started with the demigod worship and impersonalism. In their 25th, we have covered up to the 23rd verse, where we discuss mainly about the demigod worshippers and where why they are less intelligent and why the Krishna's worshipper is the highest intelligence. And we discuss about the spirituality aspects as well as the material aspects in that. And then I'll give you more references to the Puranas and Bhagavatams, where the Bhagavatam stands compared to the Puranas. And we'll go over that later part of our session today. Now, today we will resume from the 24th verse, where Krishna speaks about impersonalism. And then last section, where Krishna will speak about from delusion by Maya to devotion to Krishna. Who gets deluded by Maya, and how to render devotion to Krishna. So we'll go into detail of those verses. Before that, I want to just briefly cover the topic of impersonalist philosopher. One is impersonalist, like Madhavchandra Prabhu explained that in impersonalism can be divided into multiple categories, but mainly we try to divide into at least two categories. One is Mayavadi and another is Brahmavadi. So Mayavadi what they think about is, how is the Mayavadi thinks? Mayavadi says everything is Maya. Entire Jagat is Maya. So they think that activities and form of the Lord also is comes under the Maya. When anybody comes in contact with material nature, everything becomes Maya. Even Lord himself is under the direction of Maya. That's what they think. Examples in the scriptures shows. Yes, Prabhuji, anybody is speaking? Uh, Balu Prabhu, if you have any questions, otherwise you can help mute yourself. Thank you.
I did.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Okay.
No, I did mute now. Sorry.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Hare Krishna. So Duryodhan, example is Krishna comes to Hastinapur and he's wanted to propose the Shanti Prastha or peace agreement with Kauravas. And Duryodhan does not agree to it, and he wants to arrest Krishna, where uh, other like Vidur and Acharya, Dron, and Bhishma Pitamaha knows that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so they always respect. But Duryodhan was not able to understand. He was thinking Krishna is a Mayavi. Even same Shishupal, he used to give all the bad words to Krishna. Krishna is his mother's sister's son. That means Mosera Bhai, a cousin. When Shishupal appeared, Krishna was there, and if Shishupal had, like, I think, multiple hands, I think he is born with some additional limbs, and he was looking very ugly. And Shishupal's mother was very unhappy. So Krishna, with his mother, Devaki, he visited Shishupal's birthplace, and then it was given. Uh, it was been mentioned that whoever uh, takes this baby on his lap and these limbs disappear and becomes a normal, he will be the killer of that person, or he will be killer of the Shishupal. Shishupal had extra limbs and he was looking very ugly. And then I think extra hands, and I now don't recall all the incidents, but it was very badly looking, ugly looking, and mother was very unhappy to give a birth to such child, but she wanted to see her son not getting normal, and there was an announcement done that whoever uh, on his lap, whichever person he goes on his lap and becomes a normal as a human form, then that person will be the killer. He will eventually kill Shishupal. He will be get killed by that person. Then Shishupal's mother's request Krishna, hey, please do not kill my son. He's your cousin. How can you kill? And I'm like your mother. I'm asking you to protection of my son. He said, Mother, you are requesting it, so I will give you this promise that at any moment of time, I'll forgive his 100 mistakes in a row at any given time. And then Shishupal, from the childhood, he was very much envy of Krishna. He did not like Krishna because he heard that Krishna is going to kill me, one. And also, he was in asangha. That means he was thinking all the bad association and thinking all worldly kind of things. At some point, in the Yudhishthir Maharaj's Ashwamedha Yajna or coronation ceremony, when Shishupal went, he was chastising Krishna and giving all kind of bad words. And then everybody was angry, including Bhishma Pitamaha and Balramji and everything. Krishna says, everybody keep quiet. I'm just counting his mistakes. Once he reaches 100, I'll not forgive him. And once he reaches 100, Krishna kills him with Sudarshan Chakra. So, when Krishna personally was present, they could not understand his form. They always thought Krishna is a Mayavi. Even Duryodhana always thought Krishna is a Mayavi. So what the other attributes that Mayavadi has is they maintain both the living entity and God himself under the control of Maya when they come into this material world. So that means nothing beyond Maya. Maya is like a supreme for them. They accept the Lord's impersonal activities and reject his personal features. They think that the Maya is like a impersonal, it doesn't have form. And everything, if Lord does any activities, he says Lord is just is a Mayavi and has given additional powers just to perform some miracles. That's it. And they reject all the forms. And then one may say, oh, then Buddhism, right? Buddhism is like a Vaidism actually, not actually the Mayavadis. Though I just put this thought here because they don't even think this is a Maya. They think it's a beyond that. It's like more like a Shunyavad. So the purpose of the Buddha uh, is a incarnation, right? But then he descended to lead the people away from Vedic scholarship and ritualistic activities, where atheistic minded Brahmanas, the Brahmana who had just the theoretical knowledge, but they were using some verses in the Vedas to kill the animals as per their desire and wish, and drawing people into following those ritualistic, and they categorizing people who only follow those ritualistics are Brahmana, rest are not, and everything. So to break that cycle, Krishna's incarnation as Buddha appeared to reject Vedas, the principle of Vedas, says that killing of animal sacrifice as per the Veda principles. And he wanted to bring that one should not kill any animal unnecessary. So in reaction to these Brahmanas, the Buddhist philosophy conclusions of Shunyavadism, Vaidism, that means you have to just meditate within yourself and get the peace, right? And then his philosopher moved away from Buddha's principle and just spreaded the Shunyamat only and did not follow the actual principle what Buddha came. And then eventually it became like a practice. So that Shunyavad is, and then Shankaracharya came and then introduced the Mayavad or Brahmavad, one can say, where he rejected the Shunyavad and introduced. And Shankaracharya is the form of Lord Shiva. So in there, the reason that Shankaracharya, even though he agreed in his scripture, says that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead in his original form. So he never rejected, Shankaracharya never rejected Krishna as a absolute impersonal. He always said he is an absolute personal.
Sure. You said something about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Hmm.
Is he considered an incarnation?
Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a hidden incarnation in Kali Yuga. It is stated in Bhagavatam verses that I haven't brought that verses, but it is stated in the Bhagavatam that I will come with the fetish complex, or you can say that, what is that, Radhanash? Yellow complexion. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in the Kali Yuga as a yellowish complexion, as a hidden incarnation. And reason this time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself means the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually he is a combined incarnation of Radha and Krishna together.
Really?
In the spiritual world. And there is a in spiritual world there is a Mayapur, there is a just like a Goloka in spiritual world. Similarly, there is a Mayapur also, part of the lotus center of the Vaikuntha Lok. There is a Goloka one side, one is the Mayapur on the other side. So the original combination of Radha and Krishna becomes a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in spiritual world, and he comes once in a Brahma day. Similarly, but all other Kali Yuga expansions happens as it comes from Shirodakshai Vishnu. But It takes a form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to spread the holy name. But lot of pastimes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu demonstrate, which are very internal to Radharani's pleasure of Radharani, he doesn't demonstrate in other yugas. But he mainly demonstrate all the Sankirtan, like Nama Prachar. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes as a devotee to demonstrate how one can put a devotional service unto the Lord. So it's very wonderful. There is Chaitanya Charitamrut with 11,000 verses, very wonderfully described by Prabhupada, translated. He only slept 1 hour a day for all of us to translate in English because we could not understand Bengali for everyone. So he exposed the secret to everyone.
1 hour a day.
So 11,000 verses, 1 hour a day he used to sleep, and he translated like Damodari Prabhu was showing list of books, right? 70 plus books he translated or wrote. Out of that, his Bhagavad Gita translation that we are reading, uh, Chaitanya Charitamrut, 11,000 verses, Bengali and Sanskrit combinations. Then he translated Bhagavatam, and then Nectar of Instruction, Isha Upanishad. There are the small books, as well as Nectar of Devotion, and then many more books he has translated. So it's a humongous work that Srila Prabhupada has done between age of 71 and 81. And you have seen repetitively here so many things about Srila Prabhupada. There is a Prabhupada Lilamrut, very beautiful book, talks about Prabhupada's pastimes, and very wonderful. I will definitely encourage, if anybody are fond of reading, this is the one of the best book to read. Especially this was written by all the Srila Prabhupada disciples together. I mean, they have contributed some or the other way to share their experiences.
But Buddha is considered incarnation.
Buddha is considered an incarnation, but his followers deviated from his original principles.
Then how come we have two what do you call incarnations in Kali Yuga? Generally one
Yes.
incarnation, one yuga is what we talk about, right? So how come we have two?
So, as Krishna, the incarnations are follows in the 5 different categories, right? Purusha avatar, Yuga avatar, Manvantara avatar, Shakti Avesha avatar, and what is it called? Pastimes. What do you say? Where Krishna delivers. And there's one more. I should have written those. So those different type of expansion Krishna does. Now, just like Parshuram is a Shakti Avesha avatar. Similarly, Buddha is also Shakti Avesha avatar.
The Parshuram is like
Hmm.
in Treta Yuga.
Yes, but as like Parshuram appears on the planet, material world, as a Shakti Avesha avatar. Shakti means the Lord himself does not demonstrate the Vishnu Tattva, but he empowers the living entity to perform on his behalf and do the some Yoga Dharma changes. So that is what is what explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. We can briefly refer to those verses in the end as time permits. But yeah. And then next one is impersonalist philosophers, right? Brahmavad. So Brahmavad is like Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Is like there. Sure. Yes, Mataji. Is this visible now? The Brahmavad is like Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. That means impersonal knowledge is the supreme truth, and then everything else is part and parcel of impersonal truth. So impersonal truth is what? Brahman, for example. Krishna can be understood in a 3 different stages. The very primary stages, as people has understood, is a Brahman, is a super soul. The second stage is a Paramatma understanding. That's what we have learned in the Prabhupada has very wonderfully explained in the introduction chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where he gives the analogy of sun rays, sun, and sun planet. So similarly, Brahman is just like a rays effulgence coming from the Krishna's body. All and that effulgence becomes like a Brahman. That means the all the rays across the spiritual planet happens that comes under the material world. Those rays penetrates the material world and it becomes like a Brahman effulgence everywhere. Then second understanding was Paramatma, and third is the topmost understanding was or is, it always is, Bhagwan. He's a Supreme Personality of Godhead with Sachidananda Vigraha. Sachidananda means he's always true. He's full of knowledge and full of bliss. That's called Sachidananda. So Krishna's body is always spiritual, whether he's in material world or spiritual world. When he comes to the material world, he always takes the same body. But then why people don't understand? Because it is covered by Yoga Maya, his internal potency. Hence, we don't recognize Krishna. Like in Vrindavan also, many saints, and there is a it has been a strong faith, and many saintly people has been given a realization that Radha and Krishna comes every day to Krishna, to Vrindavan, in some places to do the Ras Leela, or they are wandering around to deliver their pastimes. But then how come we don't see it? Because we as a jiva entangled in the material world are covered by yoga, mohamaya, or you can say Maya Devi, Durga Devi. But the devotees who are in the medium or even higher stages, they are covered by yoga maya. Why? Because Krishna decides when to reveal himself and when not to. So we'll also see those some of the incidents how Krishna decides that, if time permits, because we'll first focus on studying of verses.
Normal people anytime or only very elevated people?
Krishna's form is transcendental. One cannot see his form easily. If we see his form, we'll give up this body. Because the material body, contaminated body, does not have ability to see Krishna in his real form. Because we need a purification. Our senses needs to be purified. Because his form comes up with humongous amount of not only light, the energy, the spiritual energy, and the intensity of love that this body cannot tolerate it. It just for like there is a place called Nidhivan in Vrindavan, and nobody stays there in the night because it is believed that Radha Krishna comes to play Ras Leela. Then there are many people in the past has tried to seek through it or hide before the gate, close the gate, and then nobody returned alive. Even people, some people, they gave up the body by just seeking Krishna like this. Some people were unconsciousness. They came for a moment and then they left the body. They said, I could not tolerate those forms of this Krishna, Radha Krishna, and their associates. This is beyond this. So how come then Krishna shows form to someone? The devotees who are been at the stage of their highest purification in this material body, there Krishna reveals the form covered with the Yogmaya so that they can tolerate but give them the tinge of love, give them the experience of love. But this is all Krishna decides. So
I
here,
would like to add something.
Mhm.
So, when he comes to Hastinapur
Yes,
for seeking peace,
yes,
I think that time also he shows his Virat root.
yes,
But Dhritarashtra and even Karan notices that.
yes,
Okay, but Dhritarashtra and
yeah.
Duryodhan
Mm.
and what was the other brother?
Dushyasan.
Dushyasan.
Mm.
They still cannot perceive.
Correct, correct. We
He is
discussed
right
that.
there in his Virat root,
Yeah, yeah.
and they are not able to perceive it. So
Correct,
it's like similarly, I think in today's time, our senses are close to it, so we are not able to perceive it. But like sometimes, like when you are really doing a lot of bhakti, sometimes you will experience, okay, uh, in the form of maybe some motivation or in the form of some sort of mental peace. So it's hard to really put it in words. But I think in Kali Yuga, when there's so much power, okay, it is very difficult for our senses to perceive it. Even in those days, Duryodhan could not perceive.
Yes. So Brahmavad is about like they understand that all three features, that non-dual, which is absolute, like Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan, are part of the absolute. Therefore, they are attracted. Brahmavadi are attracted to the Brahman feature. They think because everything comes under Brahman, they accept. They accept the Lord's impersonal activities. They accept Lord's activities as impersonal, and they may but they though they may say that impersonal activities are under the, sorry, personal activities of Lord is under the impersonal, but they don't, like Brahmadi does not reject like Mayavati as a like Mayavi, or they, whatever the Krishna's activities, they never say, oh, this is unreal, or this is magical, or this is mythological. No, they understand these are the real activities of the Lord, but origin of this, all this thing is impersonal Brahman. So they keep always saying the highest is their principle of understanding is Brahman, impersonal. Then these Nirakarvadi, although by austerities and penance, they may rise up to the Brahman effulgence. Like Srila Prabhupada explains in one of his purport, this sentence that I grabbed, that they says that when yogis meditate on a Brahman, eventually they come out of the cycle of the birth and death, go to the Brahman effulgence, which is out of the material manifestation. But they stuck there doing nothing because there is no activities of the Lord. There is no, because impersonal is, there's no personalism there. There's a space, empty space. It's just a effulgence of the Lord's body. It's just there. So they just hang in there. And then Madhavchandra Prabhu once in class he explains, like devotees like Narad just wanders around all the spaces and he sees, oh, this poor guy got stuck, and he pulls him down, saying, okay, I'll get you attached to the bhakti so you can eventually get to the understanding of Krishna consciousness with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and eventually you'll go back. So by Narada's guidance, they come back to get the great devotee birth because they have achieved the level of rejecting all the material entanglement. Now they need to render service to Krishna. So how one can even see sometimes some devotees, like I don't know how many people has heard, there is a person called Premanand Baba. He is in Vrindavan, and he was a Shiva Bhakta, or he was more like focusing on meditation. But then at certain point of time in life, he became a Radharani or Krishna Bhakta. And he renders the service last 17 years. He doesn't have two kidneys functioning since last 17 years, but it's amazing.
Shiv Bhakt. And once actually people from Vrindavan came and they were performing Ras Leela, something, some skit in Varanasi on the ghats. Okay. So they told him, why don't you come? But he's like, no, no, I am a Shiv Bhakt. Okay. So I should not get into all this entertainment. But they said, no, just try it once. Okay. And he goes and experiences it. And then he ends up going to Vrindavan again. And his life changes after that.
Right, right.
So,
So this is how you can see that how somebody might have gone and achieved the Brahman and then came back and started rendering service. So these are just an example of how one can think about where the impersonalist philosopher, but by mercy of a devotee, they can eventually come to the Krishna. Then another few examples are four Kumaras, right? They were also following Brahmavad, but by mercy of Tulsi Maharani, by the smell of Tulsi Patra, they eventually started rendering service to Vishnu and Krishna. So even Srila Shukadev Goswami, though it's a incarnation of Shivji, but he always said, I don't have anything to do with this world. I'm not coming and I'm just meditating on Brahman all the time. And once he heard the slok of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, where Putna gets killed, and those beautiful sloks. And he started hearing, he got attracted and he started learning Bhagavad and then he preached. And he got so much immersed into Bhagavatam and so much immersed into the Krishna Katha that he never came out after that. Like he rendered the complete service. So there are so many examples where eventually the yogis attain the Brahman, but by mercy of some or the other devotees, God makes arrangement for them to come to the platform of Krishna consciousness. But think how lucky we are that we got an opportunity without doing any austerities whatsoever. We are already onto the path of Krishna consciousness. One just needs to take it seriously and needs to drive this as the only goal of the life. Then one can achieve the Krishna Prem in this life only. So now today we'll start the verse 24th. So Shiva Prabhu, do you want to read the verse?
अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं
Avyaktam vyaktimapannam
मन्यन्ते माम बुद्धयः
manyante mama buddhayah
परं भावमजानन्तो
param bhavamajananto
ममाव्ययनुमत्तमम्
mama vyavyanumattamam. Other Shiva Prabhu, do you want to read translation?
Yes, Prabhu. Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme.
Supreme. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This purport now. Punya Prabhu, are you there? Do you want to read the purport?
Yes, Prabhu. Those who are worshippers of demigods have been described as less intelligent persons, and here the impersonalists are similarly described. Lord Krishna, in his personal form, is here speaking before Arjuna, and still, due to ignorance, impersonalists argue that the Supreme Lord ultimately has no form. Yamunacharya, a great devotee of Lord in the disciplic succession of Ramanujacharya, has written very appreciative verse in the very appropriate verse in this connection. He says, my dear Lord, devotees like Vyasadeva and Narada know you to be the personality of Godhead. By understanding different Vedic literatures, one can come to know your characteristics, your form, your activities, and one can thus understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But those who are in the modes of passion, ignorance, the demons, the non-devotees cannot understand you. They are unable to understand you. However, experts such non-devotees may be in discussing Vedanta and Upanishads and other Vedic literatures. It is not possible for them to understand the personality of Godhead.
Stotram. So here, wait for a minute. So here, Yamunacharya, a great devotee of the Lord, right? He explains, and comes in the Ramanujacharya. So we have 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas. So one of them is headed by Ramanujacharya. So here, the Yamunacharya said that the Narada and Vyasdeva knows personality of Godhead as a Bhagwan. Whenever we say personality of Godhead, it is actually the personal form of Krishna. That's how it is represented across all the scriptures. So we should always relate when it says personality of Godhead, it should be the Krishna in his personal form. Krishna in his personal form. Then by understanding of various scriptures, one can know your characteristic form. So when one says that various scriptures, one is Bhagavatam. Then Chaitanya Charitamrita for Gaudiya is a scriptures. like similarly, other Vaishnava Sampradayas, all whatever Acharya has revealed, the knowledge and their experience is been termed as the scriptures for them too. So here that explains Krishna's form. Krishna, how is Krishna in the Vrindavan? He had a Tribhanga Lalita form, right? So in his form, why it is Tribhanga Lalita? Where is the form of the Krishna? Why he wears the more pankha? Why he always carries the basuri, flute, and why he carries the orange dhoti or yellow dhoti? So everything is described as a science, as a spiritual science, everything behind it. And then, but people who are in the devotional platform, they take, as a, nectar out of it. They relish that nectar. They do the kirtan. They devote that time, just like, for example, in 1500 years, when Vallabhacharya is one of the acharyas in Vaishnava Sampradaya, his disciple was Nikita, the blind Surdas, right? So there was a devotee, his name is Surdas, and his duty is to when Srinathji, Sri Govardhanathji appeared before, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, Govardhanathji appeared, and there's a wonderful pastime that Amarendra Prabhu explained, like before the COVID in our temple. So the Govardhanathji was being served by Vallabhacharya and his son, and Surdas was a disciple of Vallabhacharya. He was blind by birth, and his duty was to come to the temple. In all the darshans, there will be Ashtayam Seva. Ashtayam Seva means 8 times the temple door will be open and it will offer offerings to the Lord, including the arati, everything, as well as proper bhoga. So Surdas Ji will every time will come and he will sing the bhajan as if he's watching the Lord's form, what he has wear, Shringar, and he will glorify the Shringar. And that is his duty. Every time he will come and glorify the Shringar. So one day, Gusaiji, Vallabhacharya's son, he used to be the head pujari at that time. He said, he's a blind. How can he see it? Maybe he's cheating. He's so, then he just wanted to test it, that, or he's just making out. Maybe it's just the accidental that he's saying something, and unfortunately that day Krishna is just wearing the yellow or bluish dresses. So one day he only kept Krishna in the jewelries. He did not wear him any clothes. And then Surdas ji started singing. And Nikita sings those bhajans, but the meaning of that is, how come Krishna has not wear any clothes today? So Surdas can reveal, because he had those nano chakshu. He has those chakshu where he can see the Krishna's real form. And he used to release the songs. But the people here says, people here in the mode of passion, ignorance, and demonic mentality, or non-devotees, cannot understand you. That doesn't mean that, hey, am I non-devotee or am I devotee? No, we are still stuck with mode of passion and mode of ignorance. The tinges of mode can cover. The Maya Devi is still putting a lot of covering on us. Though even we are inquisitive, we are trying to learn, we are entering into the bhakti life. Eventually, as we progress, as we get serious, as we perform sadhana with the determination, eventually we'll get those chakshus to see Krishna and his form and pastimes. Krishna reveals himself. One cannot see Krishna by his own endeavorance whatsoever. Krishna always says that, I will reveal myself. So here, many times, Vedanta philosophy, many people say, oh, I read this. Like Tukaram Maharaj is a saint in the Maharashtra. And he got a test of the Harinam. Vithala, Vithala, Jai Hari, Vithala, Panduranga Hari. So he used to sing throughout, even 24 hours. Like his sleep just disappeared in the name of, holy name of Lord. And then one
His
day,
kid, you said, right?
hmm?
His
Tuk-
kid.
Tukaram Maharaj.
Yeah, Tukaram Maharaj's kid.
No, Tukaram Maharaj himself
Oh, himself.
was very much attracted to the holy name, and he used to say 24 hours. Like Satat Kirtan was his ability to do just render the service. Now, one Vedantist at that time, people used to like Chaturvedi, means I'm knower of all the four Vedas, right? It is been said. So he said, I know all four Vedas, I know Upanishad, I know everything. So I have all the knowledge. And he said, by my knowledge, I'll defeat Tukaram Maharaj. Then he had a proud. He came to Tukaram Maharaj place. Tukaram Maharaj went to the toilet. Then he could not wait because in moment he entered the town, he wanted to defeat Tukaram Maharaj. Wanted to defeat Tukaram Maharaj, just like impatient. And then he goes. He says, "Where is Tukaram Maharaj?" He says, "Went to toilet." Where? He said, "No, wait. He will come." He said, "No, I have to see him right now." Then Tukaram Maharaj's daughter pointed him to the outside of the village because there was no toilet concept there. So he went and he kept going around and around watching bushes and he everywhere. And from somewhere there is a voice come, Vithala, Vithala, Jai Hari, Vithala. And he says, who is singing? I'm not able to see. He started following that voice. And in somewhere under the behind the bushes, Tikaram Maharaj is sitting, and he gets very angry that how come this person is singing while he's going in toilet. He's so angry that Tukaram Maharaj has this choti. He just holds this choti, pulls him up, and says, "How dare! The holy name is so pure. You must not chant while doing this impure activity." He said, "I totally agree. My senses are not in my control. I tell them, do not chant this, I'm doing this impure activity, but they do not listen to me." And he says, how dare you are saying this? This is no, really, my tongue doesn't listen to me. He said, you are so ruthless. Let me hold your tongue and I challenge you, chant, show me that your tongue is still chanting. He pulls his tongue and holds, and from pores of his body, Vithala, Vithala, Jai Hari, Vithala, 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 Jai Hari, Vithala. So much of that, this person, he starts sweating. He never seen that even pores can chant the name of the Hari. Forget about the tongue. Forget about mouth. And he pays obeisances. That my knowledge is useless. I'm totally not a devotee. But what you have done is beyond that. So here many people can recite slokas, understand slokas, but if never follow, never put never put that devotional service of rendering service to Krishna, then they will be just be on the different category, not a devotee. Prabhuji, continue.
Yes. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the personality of Godhead cannot be understood simply by study of the Vedanta literature. Only by the mercy of Supreme Lord can the personality of Supreme to be known. Therefore, in this verse, it is clearly stated that not only are the worshippers of the demigods are less intelligent, but those non-devotees who are engaged in Vedanta and speculation on Vedic literature without any tinge of true Krishna consciousness are also less intelligent. And for them, it is not possible to understand God's impersonal nature. God's personal nature. Persons who are under the impression that the absolute truth is impersonal are described as abuddhaya, which means those who do not know the ultimate features of the absolute truth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that supreme realization begins from the impersonal Brahman and then rises to the localized supersoul. But the ultimate word in the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead. Modern impersonalists are still less intelligent, for they do not even follow their great predecessor Shankaracharya, who has specifically stated that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Impersonalists, therefore, not knowing the supreme truth, think Krishna to be only the son of Devaki and Vasudeva, or a prince, or a powerful living entity. This is also condemned in the Bhagavad Gita. Avagnananti mam modha
Manush
manushinam
Tan
tanum
Ashri.
asritam.
Yes.
Only the fools regard me as an ordinary person.
Just if you give me a couple minutes. So here, when we say Shankaracharya is Brahmavadi or Mayavadi, but Shankaracharya is a incarnation of Lord Shiv. He states that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means Shankaracharya himself acknowledges Krishna in his original form as a Bhagwan, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But his followers, they do not follow this particular line. They follow everything else. The Shankaracharya's main goal was to break the Buddhism, Shunyavad, basically, which was spread by Buddha's succession
I didn't
disciple.
understand because Buddha is considered a god by himself,
Yes,
and Shankaracharya
it's an
is a big
expansion of
personality, and
yes.
he's breaking the Buddhism.
So when Buddha appeared, appeared in like 200, like second 20, like yeah, like almost like a 200 years ago, 2000 years ago, right?
Okay, right.
So at the time, when people took the Vedas, and they categorize the people who are studying and following, and they mainly focus on ritualistic aspects as well as killing animals. Sacrificing animal became a main propaganda of following the Vedic philosophy. To break that, going forward in the wrong direction, Buddha came to stop the animal sacrifice, because animal sacrifice in the Veda was prescribed as animals which were getting very old, and pious animals who wants to eventually get to the human body. So they will eventually offer a sacrifice of those very old animals who has reached to the life, to pray for them to get to the human birth so that they can come and render the service. So that was the original intent. But then it became like a meat eating factory there. And they were killing all animals across. To stop that, Buddha incarnation happened. As well as then Buddha could not just say that, oh, this is wrong, this is how you should not understand. He just condemned the whole Vedic principle of following the animal killing. But that been treated as a way, it just self, because nobody was following the Vedas as it is. So it been treated that Buddha rejected the entire Vedas. Buddha still coming from the all the Vedic family, right? But then he only condemned that part. But his followers, they said Buddha condemned everything and followed only the ahimsa mark. Absolutely, he wanted to showcase that animal killing or any killing is bad. And that's the principle he wanted to follow, so that people don't kill animals or any unnecessary human being, because that is going to cause them more and more sins. So that was the purpose of that expansion. And then what happened is Shunyavad spread so much that people did not even study Vedas, did not follow the Vedas. So they moved away from that principle. And because Veda comes from we in 15.15, Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishto matah smutikanam apohanam cha vedesha sarvar ahame vedo vedanta krut ved videha chaham. From me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness, and I am the compiler of Veda, and I am knower of Veda. Right? This is what Krishna says in 15th chapter, 15th verse. So everything, this all Veda comes from Krishna himself. So to introduce the Veda back, the Shiva came as a expansion, Shankaracharya, to introduce Veda. But now how to break? You cannot just break into the devotional cycle. So he introduced one more layer of Mayavad. That, hey, Veda is true, but this everything is like a Brahman here. Everything is Brahman. That's how he started. So he break the principle of Shunyavad to make it to the principle of Brahmavad Mayavad philosophy, impersonal Brahman. And then from there, Madhavacharya and other Vaishnava acharyas came to refute the principles of Shankaracharya to introduce the devotional service. So it's a transition phase.
It's like step by step
Yes.
evolution, maybe.
And it is a purpose. This is how the purpose of each incarnation has a separate purpose, right? The Krishna is in the what is the tortoise avatar, right? He did not go and preach or did not demonstrate, right? Which one? Kaccha, Kurma avatar, right? He was just holding this Mandar. What is that? Mandar Parvat or
Mandar Parvat.
Mandar, right? So, and it was like, it was feeling nice, right? It's a huge, right, mountain. So every purpose has different meanings. One cannot say that, oh, Krishna comes, so he will always, in everything, he will deliver the same pastime. No. Every avatar, he will deliver different pastimes or different purposes and different timelines for every avatar. Yes, Punya Prabhu, you had some.
No, I just wanted to add, Prabhu. Sankaracharya also was, when he came, there are about 72 or 80 branches of Vedic religions as well. Like each of the god or within
Correct.
that god, there are further sections and all.
Yeah.
He unified all of them that hey, we
very
all belong to the
correct.
same Vedic lineage. And
Correct.
also he installed not approach God in the Ugra form, like approach in the Sattvic form.
Yes.
Many places where worshippers were killing Kali Mata and other forms
Yeah.
were only worshipped with certain ways.
If
He
Isaiah or others, right?
corrected all of them to
Correct.
move to
Another one unified.
Sattvic forms.
Correct. So Brahman, then that's how he introduced everything is Brahman. And then all the intelligent scholars, he attracted them. And that's how they started following. So that became like a big thing. Yes. Okay, Prabhuji, please continue with the next.
Yes. The fact is that no one can understand Krishna without rendering devotional service and without developing Krishna consciousness. In Bhagavatam, the Bhagavatam confirms this. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna or his form, quality, or name simply by mental speculation or by discussing Vedic literature. One must understand him by devotional service. When one is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, beginning by chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then only can one understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Non-devotee impersonalists think that Krishna has a body made of this material nature and that all his activities, his form, and everything are Maya. These impersonalists are known as Mayavadis. They do not know the ultimate truth.
See, so it's a very wonderful how Prabhupada explains about the non-devotee impersonalist things that Krishna has a body made up of this material nature. See, Krishna, when living this material world, he manifested a pastime under the Yogmayas where after he getting hit as an arrow on his leg, he left the material body as if look like Krishna died and he departed to the spiritual world. And why he did? He did to confuse those materialistic impersonalist Mayavadis that I am just like you. I just left my body. I'm just like you. It is,
Prabhu, just one small question.
yes,
When Krishna did all these leelas and pastimes,
yes,
it is under the influence of Yoga Maya. Even Yoga Maya has that Maya term, right, Prabhu? That has a significance.
yes. Prabhu, Krishna has the three potencies, right? Internal, external, and marginal potencies. We studied that, right? Krishna's external potency is all the material energies, material world, including the Maya Devi, which is Durga Mata. Now, Krishna's internal potency comes, one is Radharani, who is the closest, as well as Radharani's expansion is Yoga Maya. And wherever Krishna comes into the material world, he comes with Yoga Maya as his servant. So, what does Yoga Maya do? When Krishna appeared in the womb of Mata Devaki, Yoga Maya appeared in the womb of Mata Yashoda. And then they got exchanged. Now, when Yoga Maya comes, actually, even Acharya says Krishna also appeared with Yoga Maya as a brother and sister to Yashoda. And also, there was a Krishna appeared in the womb of Mata Devaki. And then when Krishna came to the came back to the he got merged with the another Krishna. So that is very deep understanding. We'll not go detail on this class because we'll discuss that when there is enough time we have to discuss that. So Yoga Maya tells Kansa that Krishna has already been taken a birth. Your killer has already taken a birth. Now, who is Yoga Maya? Yoga Maya is a servant of Krishna. But in this pastime, she appeared as a sister of Krishna. Now, how she performs? She performs wherever Krishna wants her to perform. So, for example, when Yashoda Maya was seeing Krishna's mouth, she was seeing everything in his mouth, entire universe, including herself. And she started getting a knowledge. Oh, Krishna is a god. He is not an ordinary person. The moment she started getting that knowledge, Krishna was wondering that if she gets the knowledge, she will put me on altar. I will not get to do the pastimes. I'll be sitting in an altar and I'll just accepting bhoga and then racings and nothing else. I'll be stuck. I'll not be able to get that loving exchange that Yashoda Maya is cuddling me, then she's like spanking me, she's like doing all the different activities, loving me, then she's bathing me personally, so many things she's playing with, all this will never happen. So he orders the Yoga Maya, okay, please put your covering of knowledge onto Yashoda Maya, so show that she doesn't rendered me or she doesn't understand that I'm a Bhagwan. She thinks that I'm her loving son. That's it. Make that understanding. So that's where Yoga Maya comes wherever Krishna wants him to come. When a demon comes, especially Putana comes, how come Putana can enter where nobody's stopping her? Because Yogamaya is covering everybody else, thinking, this lady, let her come. She's so beautiful. She must be coming from Swarga, Apsara. So let her come. So this where Prabhupada very nicely explains in some places, but as we can always run out of so many explanations, times to cover the verses. But it's very, very detailed explanation of Prabhupada and his one of the quotes, how Krishna in various activities, how Yogamaya is covering. How like Brahma Vimohan Leela. Now, do you think that Brahma does not know that Krishna has appeared? Everybody welcome. Everybody came and participated when Krishna appeared. Then now they know that Lord has appeared. How come they don't know? But Yogamaya appear as put a covering on Brahma to make the Brahma Vimohan Leela, where Brahmaji stole all the cowherds, boys, as well as all the cows. And then when Brahmaji stole, Krishna expanded himself. There, Yogamaya did not come. Yogamaya is all about covering. But Krishna expanded himself as those many cows and those many cowherd boys. And he spent 1 year doing that, where he played with Krishna, played every day. They used to go to the forest for gazing cows. But what happened in the whole process? The cowherd boys, when they went home, their mother used to love them so much that I never experienced so much of love in my life. I never lie. My son is like, this is like a Sachitananda Vigraha is coming and like full of ocean of love is flowing. When cows were giving the milk and to their small cows, they were giving so much milk. The love they expanded in 1 year was infinite amount. And then when Balram knows about this, in the last couple days, he asked, I'm just watching. Something has changed in last 1 year. How come mothers are loving this cowherd boys so much, and how come these cows are loving their small babies so much, and so much milk and so much loving? Something is not right to me. Please explain. And that's how Krishna explains that he's expanded himself as those cowherd boys and the small cows, so that to to tell Brahma that I am the Lord, not he's. And then Brahmaji gets bewildered. He comes many times back and forth to see what Krishna is doing now. I took his cowherd boys, and he says, "Oh, there are cowherd boys. Did Krishna did steal from me?" He goes back to Brahmalok. No, they are still there. He again comes back. Oh, they are still here. That's how he does multiple times. Then eventually he renders services. I'm giving up. I am very stupid. I have no understanding of what I am, and he recites very wonderful verses on Krishna. So there,
That's pretty
Yoga
weird.
Maya comes.
That's pretty weird that Brahma himself has not recognized Krishna.
No, Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya puts a covering on Brahma.
Oh, okay, that is.
Same as Indra Lila, Yoga Maya puts a covering on Indra. Krishna comes to protect Indra many times in different expansions. Indra comes on when Krishna appeared. Now, how come Indra is now pouring so much of water for 7 days and to deliver the Krishna's pastime? But under the Yogamaya supervision, he is getting bewildered. So even devotee gets bewildered as per the Yogamaya also. So that is where I think Punya Prabhu, this is our is that
Yes, yes,
correct
Prabhu.
explanation?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, yes. So yes, Prabhuji, and then impersonalists are Mayavadis. They do not know the ultimate truth because impersonalists are covered by Maya Devi, not Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya is more on the Krishna supervision to cover, put temporary covering for the pastime purpose. But Mahamaya, or one can say the Maya Devi, who controls the three modes of material nature, is for the living entities are entangled in the modes of material nature. Yes. So they are always a difference. So we should always do not get confused. This terminology sometimes gets confused and we came up with our own meaning. So please be careful with that.
Other like religions stand. In
Which
terms
one?
of, like, where do other religions,
Other religion example?
Christianity or Islam, where do they stand? Because like I have not read anything about their literature, but these if we come like talk about Mayavadi versus non-Mayavadi, where do they stand? According to
So I don't have a lot of knowledge on another religion, but what I heard briefly from say Harivilas Maharaj or others, people who followed Islam properly with a good heart, good intention, or people who follow Christianism with good intention, good heart, they will eventually attain their planet of that God. But at some point in their lifetime of this chakra, eventually they will come to the Krishna consciousness platform. So what?
is that possible?
So for example, Sufism or Islam has that multiple things. When somebody follows, those their God gives them some Shakti or some expansion. Like Haridas Thakur in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. He was born as a Muslim, but he is an incarnation of Brahmadev. So he came in contact with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even before he used to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and came in contact with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and rendered the service and keep chanting 300,000 names every day.
He was on the path of chanting, but like for when we talk about like okay that when we have to get on this path, there are some principles okay that you have to be vegetarian okay and you should follow sattvic diet and all sattvic thoughts. Okay. Means that is not some.
So, if your question is if other religion will attain the same fate as we are following, answer is no. For example, if you're saying Buddhism, if you're saying Zainism, if you're saying that Christian, even they follow the very high intensity sadhana in their religion, will they achieve the same as no? Krishna also explains in previous verses. It's just like I cannot confidently say that they are the demigod, Christian, whatever they says. It's a form of a god. Like if in a Muslim, they don't have a feature of God. They don't have a picture of God. It just Makkah, Madinas, they put a picture and they render that prayers.
That Medina, that Mecca Medina is actually a stone, and it is said that it is one of the shivlings.
Shivling,
that
right,
they
right.
covered.
Correct.
It is nothing actually.
Correct. So because I don't have a 100% understanding, but what I can say is one, if it doesn't render the service with loving service, with understanding a personal feature of form of Lord, how can one achieve that destination? One cannot achieve that destination. So if even Christian, Muslim, if they pray as per this, they will achieve whatever they are praying, that destination for sure. That's what Krishna says, I'll help them to achieve that. But to come to me, you will have to render a service to me as a devotional service. And that's what he has explained, and we'll discuss more in the subsequent verses. How one is to render the service to Krishna.
Muslims and Christians, in their philosophy, the ultimate goal, ultimate place where they reach is only heaven. Jannat is what they talk
Jannat.
about. Not further than Jannat. Also, Jesus Christ, he has always told that he is son of God. Even the Paigambar, the Muslim, he has said Allah ka banda hu. He never said I am God. So that's little bit of context. Just wanted to add that.
Right.
Yeah, but like their
So Harivilas Maharaj, they says that they are bona fide religion in terms of how living entity is following them. In terms of the, maybe one can say, lower understanding, the highest understanding is Krishna. And lower understanding, because if you see their religion, they don't talk about the personal feature of God. They don't talk about activities of the Lord. They says that world was created in 7 days. Okay, if world is created in 7 days, in Bhagavatam maybe also explaining that, but then they only talk about material manifestation. We go beyond. Bhagavatam goes beyond.
For in Islam, even the definition of heaven is like something very bio, okay? That
Materialist.
Yeah, okay. It is materialist, okay.
Correct, because they all explain is a material expansion.
Then means my question is more around that like then that is no level, because even in heaven they are talking about materialism, right?
No, so
how would
Demi,
they really reach
correct.
anywhere?
All from starting from Brahma, everybody, as we covered in the previous verses, that they are under the modes of material nature, and they will live under the modes of material nature until the manifestations goes back after 311 trillion years, 40 billion years. That's the day of the Brahma. That's a lifetime of the Brahma. And then once again they come back. Now these religions got manifested as part of the Kali Yuga. These religions were never existed in other yugas. Why? Because Kali Yuga is expanding in lot of different directions as per the one's desire. If I have a desire to marry many women, Right?
Because it looks like
Then
everything-
one can follow that Muslim religion. They allow marry multiple ones. If I have desire to eat meat, but I still want to follow religion, there's a Christian religion. They do not restrict somebody from eating meat. Okay, one can follow that. If one has a desire that I just want to meditate, okay, there is a Buddhism. Okay, Jainism. I don't want to eat anything but just meditate, Jainism. So many, right? If I want to do the severe austerity, Jainism is the example of severe austerity. So there are so many ways
it seems like people have
Krishna is
adapted-
facilitating.
Yeah, according to their tendencies in nature, they have created things, okay, for them.
They
They are not
misunderstood.
reaching anywhere.
They misunderstood our.
No, one cannot
And they
say that
wanted
they have
this.
created world without Krishna's even order or under the Krishna supervision, everything is happening. Why we cannot come to the conclusion that they created on their own?
But
This
then
is
why would God create such imperfect thing?
God created a perfect world with perfect working. It is, if we don't understand, this is our imperfect understanding, because God, like in previous verses we talked about in 7.23, 22 and 23, where Krishna talks about is I will, if somebody wants to worship that particular demigod, I'll make sure that wish get fulfilled, that desire get fulfilled. And eventually you will get to the demigod planets. So that covers the broader meaning that if one wants to go and render a service to other religion, one can do it and he will facilitate that. And eventually, if he's very serious to do that for a whole lifetime, eventually he'll attain the planet of that god that he's rendering service. So that's what Krishna is also facilitating. So Krishna, he says, every human entity has a free will. I cannot interfere in free will. So world is the highest perfect. There's nothing is perfect than that, because 14 planetary systems are going super perfectly. Rain is happening. Whatever living entity needs food, everything is arranged. Animal needs food, everything is arranged. Aquatics needs food, everything is arranged. How that automatically happening, or who is creating that? Is it the factory there? Somebody is producing a food somewhere? How people are living, how I'm breathing. If I'm going into the sleep, what is the guarantee that I'll wake up next day and again keep working? Some people go onto the bed and then get attacked or get paralysis. The one limb is not working now. What is the guarantee that our next 10 years will live? But there's all science behind it. And everything is working under the perfect direction of the most perfect Bhagwan Sri Krishna. Everything happens under his guidance only. Modes of material nature, Maya, only works under supervision. Because Paramatma in everybody's heart, without Paramatma, our body is zero. If only soul and no Paramatma, it cannot function. Because material manifestation wouldn't have happened without Paramatma. And Paramatma enters in every atom and whole world starts working around it.
So a person gets paralysis, right, or brain dead. So what is missing there? Is it like Paramatma is missing, or the Jiva is missing, or what is
Both are there.
So what makes them?
So person has a paralysis or is sitting, or some people has brain dead, right?
Right.
They go into the coma.
Correct.
Or some people who are like you have seen in temple, one of the devotee kids, where they're
Correct.
a special child.
Correct.
Special child. That means
Special care they need. Yeah.
the special child is where they are don't look like a normal.
Right.
So for them, they are just taking this as a birth, coming in contact, but they don't have any activity to do. So that means they have just taken a birth for to take a birth as a cycle. But if they come in contact with the devotee family, eventually their next birth will be a human birth again to start consuming, because in previous life they might have done karma which is blocking them from doing any further activities in this life. So the karma is temporarily, the whole cycle is paused. They are suffering. The suffering is still there, but now the whole activity cycle is paused for a moment.
At least they are not doing new accounts. Only old accounts are halted.
I don't know.
Kind of.
No, when you take a birth, everything, whatever you are going to do, the suffering and how much you are going to live is been all established ahead of time for you or for every single living entity. Take a birth on this planet. So it's not that my karma activity stopped or something. It is paused as per the Lord's guidance. Maya Devi is like taking account. Lord never interferes in everybody's because everything going around the action reaction cycle. And action reaction coming from the previous millions of lives of previous action reactions are going on and on and on. Action reaction, action reaction. Yes, Punya Prabhu, please continue.
The 20th verse clearly states, Kamaistraistrairyuhta gnana prapadyantenya devata. Those who are blinded by lust, desires, surrender unto the different demigods. It is accepted that besides the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are demigods who have their different planets. And the Lord also has a planet. As stated in the 23rd verse, Devan Deva Yajo Yanti Mad Bhakta Yanti Mam Api. The worshippers of the demigods go to the different planets of the demigods, and those who are the devotees of Lord Krishna go to the Krishna Loka planet. Although this is clearly stated, the foolish impersonal is still maintained that the Lord is formless and that those forms are impositions. From the study of the Gita, does it appear that the demigods and their adobes are impersonal? Clearly, neither the demigods nor Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are impersonal. They are all persons. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has his own planet, and the demigods have theirs.
Yes, it's very clearly explained. Yeah, let's continue the last paragraph.
Yes, Prabhu. Therefore, the monistic contention that ultimate truth is formless and the form is imposed does not hold true. It is clearly stated here that it is not imposed. From the Bhagavad Gita, we can clearly understand that the forms of the demigods and the form of the Supreme Lord are simultaneously existing, and that the Lord Krishna is Satchit Ananda, eternal blissful knowledge. The Vedic literature confirms that the Supreme Absolute Truth is knowledge and blissful pleasure. Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. Brahmad Aranyaka Upanishad. And that he is the reservoir of unlimited auspicious qualities, Ananta Kalyana Gunatmako Sau. And in the Gita, the Lord says that although he is Aja, he still appears. These are the facts that we should understand from the Bhagavad Gita. We cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be impersonal. The imposition theory of impersonalist monists is false as far as the statements of the Gita are concerned. It is clear herein that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Lord Krishna, has both form and personality.
See, it's very clearly explained, Srila Prabhupada, by giving so many references and we discuss. Anyone has any questions or anything on this?
Prabhu, there is a Upanishad Vakyam, right? Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. So there is one ultimate truth, but the learned sages look at it differently based on their level and capability and understanding.
Correct.
So does it reconcile it? Maybe like that is grossly translated as monistic, which may not be true as Prabhupada is expanding.
Yes. So yes, you're talking about this, right, Prabhuji? Which one was
I'm talking about a Upanishad Vakyam, which says that truth is one, but people look at it differently. Like Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, based on each one's ability and intellectual stage, they
Hmm.
will look at it according to their capability.
Yes, Prabhu, like, I'm sorry if I'm.
Yeah, speak.
Prabhuji, like the Upanishads, right? Like, like after Vedas, these Upanishads are the understanding for the knowledge, right? Absolute truth. So the one you are telling is the correct statement, because everything were written like in line at a different context, right? So here, the whatever you said, the translation is right. And to add it, like for our own, a sampradaya, like Prabhupada suggests to write Ishopanishad. So, and we have gone through those sessions as well. Like as Prabhu has been explaining us, like God has three aspects, like
Son of God.
as a
Brahman,
Brahman
Paramatma,
presence, and
Bhagwan.
also the Paramatma form, and also the actual personality of God. Right? These three aspects together come as the God, right? And this also a reference with respect to the God when we are referring Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means like eternity, that Brahman effulgence, like that. So when you have Sat and Chit, both will come together, we'll understand, okay, God is not just effulgence, God is a Paramatma. And when you understand the complete, like the Ananda, that blissful form, Sat Chit Ananda, three together, we will understand actual personality of absolute Godhead, right? So the three levels, like it's 1, 1 plus 1, and 1 plus 1 plus 1. All three together, you will understand the actual personality of Godhead, God in full aspect, right? So as you said, the statement from Upanishad, which denotes these three aspects will be understood based on their individual realization, that as and when then practice the bhakti, so they keep understanding the level and the sampradaya that they are following. So those are being revealed to that sadhaka based on their level of understanding and realization. Does it make sense, Prabhu?
Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Yes.
So Ishopanishad actually teaches us in detail, Prabhu. Like we have very small book in the temple. You can try it out. But probably I think one of us devotees also will start, Ishopanishad sessions, which is like 12 slokas, which actually tells the different Bhagavad Gita aspects in very short form, like 12 slokas only, right? So yeah.
Yeah, Prabhu, we'll definitely go in detail on that. But yeah, I think Prabhu already explained. But we'll discuss your points as we go into either Ishopanishad or wherever those mention of Brahman comes. Brahman is sometimes Krishna also himself specifies he's a Brahman in terms of super soul. Okay, as a super soul is sitting in as a Paramatma in everybody's heart. So, depend on the context, we have to first understand the context, not individual verses. Number one. Second is we have to also see for whom this verse was written and on who should conceive this verse and what is the benefit of this verse, right? Because Bhagavad Gita is basically, or Bhagavatam is benefit for rendering a devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's like highest level of knowledge that we are studying. But Vedas does not talk about the devotional service into that extent. So we have to also see that difference, right? Whenever we keep comparing Upanishad, definitely we can keep looking at the context to help us understand how we are coming to that point of knowledge.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. So let's start the 25th. Punya Prabhu, do you want to read the verse?
Yes, Prabhu. Naham prakashah sarvasya
Naham prakasha sarvasya
yoga maya samavrtah
yogamaya samarvitah
mudhoyam nabhijana
mudoyam nabhijanati
loko mamayavyayam.
loko mam ajavyam.
I will read it again, Prabhu. Second line.
That's fine. Okay.
Mudhoyam nabhijanati
Mudhoyam nabhijanati
loko mamajamavyayam.
loko mam ajavyam. Prabhuji, Sridhar Prabhu, you want to read the translation?
Sure. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my internal potency and therefore they do
Do
not
not
know
know
that I am
that I'm
unborn
unborn
and
and
infallible.
infallible. Yes. So we'll see if Santosh Prabhu or Balu Prabhu, anyone wants to read the purport.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
It may be argued that since Krishna was visible to everyone when he was present on this earth, how can it be said that he is not manifest to everyone? But actually, he was not manifest to everyone. When Krishna was present there, uh, when Krishna was present, there were only a few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the assembly of Kurus, when Shishupal spoke against Krishna being elected president of the assembly, Bhishma supported him and proclaimed him to be the supreme god. Similarly, the Pandavas and a few others knew that he was the supreme, but not everyone. He was not revealed to the non-devotees and the common man. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, but for his pure devotees, all men consider him to be like themselves. He was manifest only to his devotees as the reservoir of all pleasure, but to others, to unintelligent non-devotees, he was covered by his internal potency.
See here. So here it explicitly explains about Yogamaya, right? Who covers Krishna? Krishna is covered by Yogamaya or Mahamaya. It is always Yogamaya. Krish, Yogamaya is a Krishna's internal potency. It is in the purest form of Sachidananda Vigraha. Mahamaya appears only in the material manifestation. And Mahamaya's job is to control the three modes of material nature. Yogamaya's job is to cover Krishna from showing his actual form to the devotees. He covers. Also, he can influence through Yogamaya that can devotee render the like love or other aspects like what Krishna, intelligence comes from Krishna. Everything comes from Krishna, right? So he can instruct Yogamaya that, okay, put little more intelligence to this person so that he can understand about me. Put some render little put more loving to Yashoda Maya so that she forgets about that I'm a god and I'm just her son, so she can start loving me more. So Yogamaya helps Krishna to deliver all his pastimes because Krishna wants to do those pastimes. It's not like Krishna is just acting. Krishna wants to be in that mode of playing that role. And he does not want to play as if as an actor, but he wants to play as if he is a original personality of God, Krishna, but he wants to enjoy the loving exchange with those devotees, all his associates. So that's why Yogamaya plays a role of them forgetting that they are playing with God. Like, Ashtasakhas or even gopis, they don't consider Krishna as a god. Even Uddhava comes to Vrindavan after Krishna goes to Dwarka, saying, "Hey, you should not even." I mean, Krishna writes a letter, and Uddhava goes and delivers that letter to Radharani and gopis and says, forget about Krishna as a lover. He's a god, so you should, meditate him as a Paramatma or Narayan. So. And then they give him the lesson of love because he does not understand what is love. And then when Gopi gives a lesson of love, Buddha says, I want to become a lotus dust of a roach where Gopis has walked. I want to follow them. I want to become a tree in Vrindavan so I can experience those though. And he tells Krishna is in front of him. Hey, don't talk to me. I am in love. Because I got been Radharani is my guru now. He's like, so this is everything is covered by Yoga Maya from time to time, from Krishna's associate, Krishna's brothers, Krishna's this. He's delivering pastimes across all his relatives, friends, associates. If they keep remembering Krishna as a god, how will they interact? They will always say, I want to keep offering you. Okay, what else I can offer you? They'll put Krishna in the altar, keep offering, right? Then it will become a problem. So that's where, like Arjun also in Bhagavad Gita, he's in 11th or 12th chapter, he will say, Forgive me if I have been very rude with you as my friend. I understand your original personality of Godhead, and I might have made a lot of mistake by sleeping with you, talking to you, not respecting with you, and all these things. But who is covering Arjun? Yogamaya. So Yogamaya can cover devotees and anybody, everybody else. Even non-devotees also, Krishna hides himself from non-devotees like Duryodhana and others. Yes. So it's a very self-explanatory, but yes, Prabhu, finish this.
In the prayers of Kunti in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the Lord is covered by the curtain of Yogamaya, and thus ordinary people cannot understand him. This Yogamaya curtain is also confirmed in the Isopanishad, in which the devotee prays, "O my Lord, you are the maintainer of the universe, and devotional service to you is the highest religious principle. Therefore, I pray that you will also maintain me. Your transcendental form is covered by the Yogamaya. The Brahma Jyoti is the covering of the internal potency. May you kindly remove this glowing effulgence that impedes my seeing your Satchidanand Vigraha, your eternal form of bliss and knowledge. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in his transcendental form of bliss and knowledge is covered by internal potency of the Brahma Jyoti, and the less intelligent impersonalists cannot see the Supreme on this account."
See, so Satchidananda Vigraha is Krishna's original form. Krishna's body, or even spiritual body of everyone, our original spiritual soul is made up of Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Satchit means always eternal. Ananda means is bliss. And there's the body, right? Vigraha means personality. So Satchit Ananda is always like a eternally knowledgeable, full of bliss personality. That is Satchidananda Vigraha.
Question again, sorry about this.
Yes.
Is Yogamaya and Mahamaya mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, or is it something, an interpretation of?
It is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Oh, they are mentioned. Those words have been used.
Correct, correct, correct.
So in this verse itself, Yogamaya is mentioned, Prabhu.
Yeah, yeah.
25th verse.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes. Bhagavatam also it mentions a lot.
Yogamaya, okay. Second line.
25th, yeah.
Yeah,
Yogamaya Samavrata.
No, but
Yes.
this is not the. This is not.
So here, Yogamaya is internal potency, and Samavritam is covered.
Is this 725?
Yeah, 725. We just read this.
Okay.
Right, right, right. Effulgence coming from Krishna's body. The spiritual planet does not have sun or moon.
What is that? Eh?
Spiritual planets like
we give as sunlight and sun disk, which you gave as a reference. So
yes,
that sunlight, which you mentioned, is the Brahma Jyoti.
yes. Sunlight is an analogy to Prabhupada explains how one should understand the Brahma Jyoti. Brahma Jyoti is a effulgence coming from us Krishna's body, and all the spiritual planets are enlightened by the Brahma Jyoti or effulgence coming from spiritual planet. They don't need sun or moon to enlighten them. They are auto-enlightened by Krishna's body's effulgence. So that's the difference between material world and spiritual world. Yes, Prabhu. Last paragraph.
Also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is this prayer by Brahma, "O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, O Master of all mystery, who can calculate your potency and pastimes in this world. You are always expanding your internal potency, and therefore no one can understand you. Learned scientists and learned scholars can examine the atomic constitution of the material world or even the planets, but still they are unable to calculate your energy and potency, although you are present before them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is not only unborn, but also aware, inexhaustible. His eternal form is bliss and knowledge, and his energies are all inexhaustible."
So one cannot understand Lord's energy, how Lord's energy are expanding. Brahma in Brahma Samhita says your energies are always expanding, and your form is the personal, eternal, and you are unborn, and there is no end to you. So that's what Brahma Samhita. It is explained by. I think I have. Here your form is endless, who is the beginning and eternal Purusha. He is the person possessing the beauty of blooming youth. And Krishna's body is always youth. He is always 14 and 9 months old only, all the time. He never becomes old. He's always youthful. Same, even when Krishna appeared on this material world, he always looked 14 years and 9 months year old only. He never went beyond that from his youth look. Everybody, Bhishma, Pitama, Arjuna, everybody became old. But Krishna body was like same. All his grandparents, parents, everybody. Even Balram was youth, but yes, Krishna always had maintained that youthfulness. And this is what Brahma Samhita, Brahmaji speaks about.
So, this context. So, there have been yogis who have been able to maintain their youth throughout. Like Maheshwarnath Baba, he has been 25 years old. By the age of 25, he attained some powers, and he has been like that ever since. So, is that something that people are capable of achieving even through AI?
Who is that? What is that?
Yeah, so Maheshwarnath Baba. Very good read about him.
So,
Maheshwar Raj.
He started Kriya Yoga.
When was that? When is this?
So, yeah, it says that he started like hundreds of years old.
So what happens is, Prabhuji, when Sant Naneshwar in 1200 years, in 1200, in 1250 or something, Sant Naneshwar, one of the saint in Maharashtra happened. He was like 7. He left his body at the age of 21, like he takes samadhi. And at that time, there was one of the yogi. He was 1200 years old. He lived at that time. Every time he used to calculate when his last day of the time will come, he will go in a very deep meditative samadhi under the earth, and he will protect himself with all the mantras so that Yamduta will never reach to him. And he escaped like 10 or 15 times the whole incidents of Yamduta comes, and then in that period, if they don't come, then he can live further. And he lived for 1200 years. And he was yogi. He used to do deep meditation and everything. Then he wanted to meet the Jnaneshwar Maharaj. He was 17-year-old, and he wrote a Bhagavad Gita translation in Marathi first time from Sanskrit, and he took a samadhi at the age of 21. So somebody says he's a Shakti Avesha avatar of Vishnu. Now, this guy, when he wants to go and meet Jnaneshwar Maharaj, he goes on a tiger, and his chabuk is snake. And he goes, and Jnaneshwar Maharaj is sitting with his siblings on a broken wall, and says, okay, he's coming to see you. Do you want to go and receive? Sister asked. He said, okay, we'll receive him. So he orders the wall that they're sitting. Let's go and take us there. The whole wall with siblings goes in front of him, and the moment he sees, then he renders the service to him, and he says, okay, I never seen this, and maybe I was so proud of my power, I give up. Then he started writing a letter. He should say, oh, he's smaller than me. Should I say Mahoday, or should I say Dandavat, or should I say blessings? And he's confused. Even he's so knowledgeable, he doesn't know what he should say to him, and in terms of respect. So he gives him a blank letter, thinking that he will understand what I have to say. So then his sister says, there's so much of Gyani that he lived so many years, but his knowledge is still blank. He doesn't have any tinge of any devotional activities, and he does not know how to treat Vaishnavas. With the knowledge, one can be blind. Now, one person, he lived 1200 years. So, do you think that he was old? No, he maintained his youthfulness. So, in the past, even demigod planet, uh, we go to anybody who goes to demigod planet, they can live at least 10,000 years. And we never get old. Demigod planet has no old age, no disease, no birth, nothing, right? We just get elevated and come down. After, so how does your lifetime measures in demigod planets? Indralok, they give you garland. As and when garland starts fading, at the day where garland is completely faded or gone, then you descend. Until then, whatever the form that you took in the demigod planet, those 10,000 years you look the same. You never get old. So that does that mean that, oh, they are compared to Krishna?
So in demigod planet, you are born or you are not born?
You descend, or not descend, but you just get elevated to the demigod planet. As a, you get a demigod body actually. You leave the demigod body and you come back and take the human form. So in demigod planet, you get a demigod body. I think you maybe got born also, but they never get old, is what I heard. So now, because I haven't gone into detailed study of how the demigod planet is, because in Bhagavatam they don't extensively talk about demigod planets, how the whole sequence is happening. But I'm saying, giving example that many people have a long living in many places, even in the Earth planet, Satyuga, people used to live 100,000 years. Dwapar Yuga 10,000, 1,000 years, or 10,000 years. So Treta Yuga 1,000 years. So long living and maintaining youth is not something described as a Sachidananda body. That just describes some power that one has inherited. To time being, he's extending his lifetime and maintaining temporary youthfulness. Krishna lived 125 years in this past time. At the age of 125 years, he was looking like a 14-year-old boy.
No, but in Dwapar Yuga, it's people used to live 1,000 years, right?
Yeah, but Krishna departed after 125 years because that's what he wanted to depart to. And so Krishna was pretty much on the end of the Dwapar Yuga. When beginning of the Dwapar Yuga, the age was like in Kali Yuga, beginning of Kali Yuga, age was 100 years. As Kali Yuga is decreasing, age will eventually become like a 20-year-old. One will maximum level live in Kali Yuga is 40 years. It is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam.
How many years?
40 years.
40.
Yeah. At the end of Kali Yuga. Maximum age.
Still, I thought we are, because of the inventions and all, our lives are actually adding up rather than decreasing.
That's a temporary, all artificial. That will eventually start. See, look at COVID, right? Small virus. Disturbed everybody. And now I see more people coughing at my workplace than before after COVID. Their health is disturbed. Even when they exercise, they don't feel full of energy. So, any artificial medicine you will take, always you will find some or the other virus will disturbing you. So, it is how the Kali Yuga is going to, manifest. It is not in our control. The virus we could not control. So, what about Kali Yuga, right? This is all the Daivi Shakti. So, we'll do the last verse and we'll conclude today. So, text 26, Prabhuji, who wants to recite here? Balu Prabhu, do you want to recite? Or Prabhu, do you want to recite verse? Okay, here, Prabhu is wanting to recite.
Yeah, I'm here.
You can read the translation, Prabhu. Wait.
I can read the translation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vedaham samitani vartamanam charjam.
You just recite half. So we'll follow you.
One line at a time.
Vedaham samitani
Vedaham samatitani
vartamanani
vartamanani
Arjuna
bhavishyani cha bhutani
Bhavishyani cha bhutani
vedana kashyap.
matu vedana kasyana. Yes, Prabhuji, read translation.
Okay. Oh Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all the things are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me no one knows.
See, it's a spinning, right? We're like, I know all the living entities, but me, no one
No
knows,
one knows.
right? So, okay, let's read the purport first.
Here, the question of personality and impersonality is clearly stated. If Krishna, the form of Supreme Personality of Godhead, were Maya, the material, as the impersonalists consider him to be, then, like the living entity, he would change his body and forget everything about his past life. Anyone with material body cannot remember his past life, nor can he foretell his future life, nor can he predict the outcome of his personal present life. Therefore, he cannot know what is happening in past, present, and future. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, he cannot know past, present, and future.
Yeah, let's continue reading the one paragraph, then we'll discuss for 5 minutes.
Unlike the ordinary human being, Lord Krishna clearly says that he completely knows what happened in the past, what is happening in the present, and what will happen in the future. In the fourth chapter, we have seen the Lord Krishna
Instructing
instructing
Vaswan.
Vasin. Okay, the sun god, million of years ago, Krishna knows every living entity because he is situated in every living being's heart as a super soul. But despite his presence in every living entity as super soul and his presence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the less intelligent, even if able to realize the impersonal Brahman, cannot realize Sri Krishna as Supreme Person. Certainly, the transcendental body of Sri Krishna is not perishable. It's just like the sun, and Maya like a cloud. Maya is like a cloud, and the material world, we can see that there is a sun and there are clouds and different stars and planets. The clouds may cover all these.
Temporarily.
The clouds may cover all these in the sky
Yes.
temporarily, but the covering is only apparent to our limited vision. The sun, moon, and the stars are not actually covered. Similarly, Maya cannot cover the Supreme Lord, but his internal potency is not manifest to the less intelligent class of men, as is stated in the third verse of this chapter. Out of millions and millions of men, some try to become perfect in his human form of life, and out of thousands and thousands of such perfected men, hardly one can understand what Lord Krishna is. Even if one is perfected by realization of impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma, he cannot possibly understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, without being in Krishna conscious.
Consciousness. See, so we are covered by Maya, but Lord is not covered by Maya. He's covered. He covers himself by internal potency, Yoga Maya. To hide, why hide? Because he wants to show his original form to the devotee, and whom he can exchange the loving relationship.
But he can show his original potency so that other non-devotees also become devotees, right?
God's internal form is such a powerful. If you have heard the story where God has Sudarshan Chakra in Dwarka, And Dronacharya's son, what is his name, Prabhuji? Dronacharya's son, Ashwatthama.
Ashwatthama.
He wanted Krishna Sudarshan Chakra. He says, okay, I want to. He said, okay, if you want, you can take it. He said, I'll give you my Brahma Shirastra and you give me the Sudarshan Chakra. He said, okay. Are you ready to? But God says, are you sure you will be able to handle my Sudarshan Chakra? Yeah. Once Sudarshan, he doesn't even touch. Once Sudarshan Chakra comes halfway through, he starts getting burnt. He cannot handle the power of Sudarshan Chakra. He says, take it back, take it back. I don't want it. No, but you ask. No, I beg you. I really don't want it. I'll never ask, never ask. Please take it back. And then Krishna take it back, Sudarshan Chakra. Think about Sudarshan Chakra is just one small thing for Krishna. Think about his original form. How one can even see the original form. As I explained in Vrindavan, many people says if one sees in that Madhuban the form of the Lord, even when they appeared, they give up their body. The spiritual form, like one of the acharyas, Narottam Das Thakur, and Shamanand Pandit, actually. Shamanand Pandit, he's second in parampara after Shada Goswami. So he was, Nidhivan, he was, he was cleaning up the area. And then he found Radharani's ankle belt, and he kept it. And then he said, okay, he didn't know whose is, but he said, okay, if somebody's there, I'll keep it in my pocket, and if somebody comes, I'll give it. Then Lalita Saki comes, and she's saying she cannot now reveal herself. So she takes the form of the old lady covered by Yogmaya, and then she presents, hey, give me the ankle bell. He says, no, I will not. I said, why? Because I need to see whose ankle bell is this. What do you mean by you need to see? I need to check the lady's, whoever's ankle bell is, I need to check if she has one ankle bell and this matching her foot. Then I'll say, okay, this is her, and I'll give it to that person. Otherwise, you will be cheating. Somebody will take, and then other lady will come, and how do I guarantee that it is your bell? So he says, then she goes back and tells Radharani. Radharani says, okay, that means he wants to meet me, and I don't want to go there. Why don't you bring him there? So then Shamanand Pandit says, okay, take me to her. He said, you cannot see her in this form. Then do whatever, I want to see her. Then they give him the vision, the spiritual vision and spiritual powers. We eventually see the Radharani. Shamanand Pandit is none other than one of the Manjaris. Even in the material manifestation, she has to, Shamanand Pandit has to get a spiritual vision, spiritual power, went with Lalita Sakhi, sat in front of Radharani, checked the ankle bell, and then give it to Radharani. Radharani takes this ankle bell and put it on his forehead and make a tilak. And that is the Shamanand Pandit's tilak. And that is name, Shamanand Pandit name came from Radharani. Radharani name gave a name as a Shamanand Pandit. So, and Radharani gave him the Vigraha, manifested from her heart of Sri Krishna's Vigraha. And that temple name, I don't, do you know, remember, Nikki? Shamananda Pandit, the Vigraha. So it's a very interesting story. I'll tell some other time. But so Lord is covering, and Lord, like you are saying, people, why can't, when Krishna was there, how many people saw Krishna as a Bhagwan in Dwarka pastimes? Not many. Hardly people say, oh, he's a king, or he did he killed the demons. Yeah, he has a superpower. Or many people says, oh, he's a son of Devaki or son of Yashoda, Gwal, Bal. So he killed so many demons. And then Pandava and Kaurava army was much larger. He killed all. How many people recognize? Even Rishi Munis did not know him well. One of the Rishi, after the war, he wanted to curse. Krishna, and he says, because of you, so many people got killed in this war of Kaurava Pandava. I'll give you curse. Krishna says, I'm not from this material world. Curse will not affect me, but it will kill all your austerity right away. But I have a full faith in all the yogis, and I want to help them. So I want to give you that knowledge that who I am. And he reveals his Narayan form to that yogi, and then he renders service. saying, oh, I didn't know you. Because Krishna says, I didn't reveal to you. Who am I? Until I don't reveal to you, you won't know. Only the devotees of Krishna, pure devotees of Krishna who knows he is Krishna, can tell others, oh, he is a Paramatma. Just by looking at somebody, some human comes, hey, I'm Krishna. Bhagavan, are you kidding? Hey, chal. Please. Right? We'll never believe. Why? What is there to believe? Oh, Krishna has these characteristics. Krishna needs to have Sudarshan Chakra. He doesn't have anything. We'll build up all these things from scriptures and others. Somebody has to take us to the Lord to show He is the Lord, whom we believe, whom we trust, that He is a pure devotee of Lord. Whatever He says is the truth. So Krishna's forms are under cover by His own will, and He does not show it to anyone because He doesn't want. He wants people came to material world for enjoyment. Here also Krishna talks in the subsequent verse about why people don't come to him because of envy and because of, see here, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arisen from desire and hate. Right? Because if Krishna shows form, what will happen? 99% of time, who is Krishna, man? See, you are enjoying, go to Goloka, enjoy. I am here, this is my heaven, I will enjoy. What's the problem? You enjoy, let me enjoy. Or give me enough wealth and enough age so I can enjoy forever here. There's a beautiful story of Indradev, just last story, and then we'll conclude. Sorry, we are going little 2 minutes over. Indra get cursed by Durvasa Muni, and then he comes to become a pig. And he started living as a pig, and he started eating Indra, Indradev. And then he started eating all whatever pig eats, and then he gets married. He gets kids. Those kids gets another kids. So Indra's, because before getting to pig, he asked for forgiveness and asked them to reduce the curse duration. So he says, okay, after 100 or 150 years, your curse will, then you can come back on your own wish, your own will. That is the how he can break. Now, he is a pig body. Who should remind? Brahmadeva says, I'll remind you. I'll remind you. So it goes, and Brahmadeva, after 100 years, he reminds, your curse is over. He says, no, I got a kid. They should get married now. So once they get married, let me enjoy their married life, and then I'll come back. After a few years, Brahmadeva says, now my grandson needs to get married. They need to also, build a family. Who will take care of them? I need to take care of them. So please give me some more years. Like that, few more years got passed by, and then Indradev says, you're Indra, you're not this pig, you got cursed. Then he reminds him everything. And then for leaving that pig body, he was feeling so painful. Because the attachment to build with family and relatives was so high that he didn't have the desire to enjoy that Indrapath for that time being. He says, I better enjoy this family life because this is my responsibility. This is what I am for. Similarly, in living entity, we want to enjoy our life. We want to get attached with our family. We want to grow our family. We want to establish our name in history. We want to give our hereditary, and we want to build that our mansion and pass it on. And we want to get our grandson married, and then their grandson, and so on and so forth. The desire never ends. Willingness to live never ends. This is the Maya. So why? It's a desire, right? Krishna says one will be builded by dualities arisen from desire and hate. So it's a very deep topic. I love to go on and on, but due to time constraint and devotees have a service.
Devotional service. So it is just chanting and like we sometimes are not able to go to temple.
Yes. Correct. Devotional service has 9 limbs. Starts with Shravanam. That's what we are doing. Second is Kirtana. Vandanam, Dasyam, Archanam, Vishnu Smaranam, right, Prabhu? Huh?
Mananam, Prabhu, Mananam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Mananam.
Smaranam actually.
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Mananam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma Archanam, Atma Nivedanam, and Vandanam, Atma Nivedanam. Yeah. So there are total 9. Sorry, I'm not, my mind is not fitting those words, but there are 9 different limbs of devotional service. And there are a lot of examples in Srimad Bhagavatam how each devotee has perfected each limb. And there is one devotee who has perfected all 9 limbs of devotional service. That is called Amrish Maharaj. Amrish Maharaj. Very beautiful stories in Srimad Bhagavatam. It talks about how different devotees has used different limbs to perform different devotional things and perfected the life for Krishna. And we'll have a larger discussion, long discussion on that. But devotional service, that's why Prabhupada keeps it very simple. Prabhupada ji keeps it very simple. Harinam Sankirtan is the only Yuga Dharma in this Kali Yuga. And chanting is the best Mahamantra. This Mahamantra of chanting is the best and only solution to achieve the devotional service. Other limbs are supporting limbs, or eventually we'll get there once we start chanting. But chanting is the main limb of all the limbs. So that's Kirtanam, rendering. So devotional service, as you chant, your mind will get purified. And if you keep hearing, like Shravanam comes first, right? If you keep hearing and chanting, your mind will get automatically detached from material activities and automatically get attached to the Krishna consciousness activities. Then you will start thinking, how do I render service to my Lordship? How do I serve him? How do I feed him? How do I do activities for him? How do I sing for him? How do I serve the devotees of this Lord? How do I please the Lord in other activities? So those thoughts comes by hearing, by following the devotees in association. Prabhupada says association is the biggest strength in the devotional service. Asanga is the completely fallback, but sadhu sanga is the uplifting in the devotional service. So that's why we encourage people to join in person. I know Punya Prabhu cannot, sorry Punya Prabhu, but sadhu sanga associated with like-minded devotees will uplift our sadhana in a magnitude. One cannot do endeavorance, but one can do endeavorance with association of devotees. That can uplift one person very in like elevator ride quickly. There are so many examples on the association.
Prabhu,
Thank you.
just one small thing. In Kali Yuga, it is further recommended, right, Prabhu? Sangha.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, sadhu sangha is recommended. That's why Prabhupada always emphasize in association of devotees, ABCD, right? Association. A comes as association, ABCD.
Just to start
B is books, C is chanting, and D is diet, prasadam.
eat only prasad.
Very beautiful. Like Prabhupada is a master of everything. He is a master plan of everything what has to do. We don't have to uh, figure it out. He has figured out and put it a ready-made plate for us. We just have to adapt to it. That's it. He made it so simple. I haven't seen any acharya made that simple of this devotional service than Prabhupada.
Thinking of discussing Shankaracharya.
Yes, yes, yes.
All this has actually divided us into so many things that
Yeah.
we have forgotten actually one line of information which was there, and it is all dispersed into this. So we are not able to concentrate. I
Correct,
think we
correct.
have everybody comes in with different reasons, logics, why this is good, why it's not good. So
Yes.
we are not able to do one simple thing, which is
Yes, yes.
saying and
Absolute chanting, right? So that's why I think Damodari Prabhu started like, hey, we should chant before the class, after the class. But then due to time constraint, I think that is, we are not able to do it. But maybe we should resume at some point soon. I'll talk to Damodari Prabhu and
Why
see.
not know, Prabhu?
Huh?
Why not know? Do good things, start.
I mean, bring your feedbacks next time, everybody. Then we can start chanting. I know you have it, but others, at least it would be good to carry neem beads also to start with.
Yeah.
Because neem beads, what happens is when you carry the tulsi bead, you need to have tulsi bead in a little bit sacred way. Like you have to do little bit purifiedness, right?
It's only after Bharat they can do.
Yeah, I mean, tulsi bit, you need to do little bit of cleanliness basically. Neem bits, cleanliness is not very essential. So initial bhakta, when they chant, they start with neem bits in general. That's recommended for initial stage. Neem bits, yes, no problem. Tulsi bits also one can do before a bathing, not a problem. Just needs to wash your hands, sit in a very clean place, and then chant nicely. Yeah, but it is also recommended that every time one uses toilet for passing the stool, then they become unclean and one needs to get clean. But it's not very hardcore rule that set by Prabhupada, except the people who take a Brahman Diksha, the second Diksha, they need to follow this principle very strictly. But people who take a Harima Diksha, very first Diksha, in general, their regulations are not very high. Just chant any time of the day, anywhere. There's no restriction whatsoever. Just make sure your hands are clean, mouth is clean. These are two things, like washing. That's it. So rules, Prabhupada get rid of all the rules. So thank you, Punya Prabhu, staying so late. I really appreciate your sincerity. So, but then apologies that I took our class too long and didn't
No
cover.
problem, Prabhu. In fact, for me, like 30 minutes saved because coming and going is already saved for me.
But I think your association is important. You are inquisitive and very deep interest in so many things. So I really appreciate. I will only recommend you one thing, Punya Prabhu. There is a Srimad Bhagavatam. You should read the last chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. It talks about Srimad Bhagavatam last chapter. This is 12 canto 13 chapter, and it will give you a understanding of what is the see, Srimad Bhagavatam is declared to be the essence of all Vedanta philosophy. One who has felt satisfaction from nectarian mellow will never be attracted to any other literature. Okay, and then before that it says all other Puranic scriptures shine forth in the assembly of saintly devotees only as long as that great ocean nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam is not heard. And then before that, you keep going a little bit up and up. It says, if here, what is that? See here, it talks about all the Puranas. How many Puranas are there? How many verses in each Purana? Who is wrote all Puranas? Vyasdev. What is who wrote Srimad Bhagavatam? Vyasdev.
Yes.
And he talks about all the Puranas, right? And how many verses are there? Then he says, there's one more verse, just like 16 verse, very important. Just as the Ganga is the greatest of all rivers, Lord Achyuta, the supreme among the deities, and Lord Shambhu, the greatest of Vaishnavas, so the Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Puranas. Very, very important verse, Prabhuji. Nimnaganam yatha Ganga, Devanam chuto yatha, Vaishnavanam yatha Shambho, Purananam midam tatha. So it's very, very important verse. Like this is the masterpiece of the verses in Bhagavatam. If one needs to understand who is what. Just like Ganga is the greatest of river, Lord Achyut is the supreme. Achyut means Krishna. And Lord Shambhu is means Shivji, is the greatest of all Vaishnavas. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Puranas.
That's pretty weird. Lord Shambhu is the greatest of all Vaishnavas.
Yes.
That is very weird because Vaishnavas are different, Saivites are different. And you're saying that Shiva is that's very weird.
Why
So,
weird?
Prabhu, it is also said that Lord Narayana is the greatest of all Saivais also. Like they both play the reverse role. Actually, for Krishna Bhaktas, Shiva plays the Guru role. Similarly, for Narayana Bhaktas, Shiva Bhaktas, Narayana plays the Guru role to introduce. So it is said that Lord Shiva knows the 100% of Ramayana. Wherever whoever says Ramayana, it is comes from Lord Shiva, like Tulsidas, or even when it comes from Valmiki ji, Brahma says, through Brahma he receives it, to Brahma Lord Shiva gives the Ramayana. It is said that Shiva has like a much bigger version of Ramayana, like 100,000 verses or even more, like Shatakoti Pravistaram, Ekekam Aksharam Pumsam Mahapataka. So like it is only a fraction is given, 24,000 verses is given to us based on our intellect of our age. So yes, it is very much established, Prabhu. Shiva is the gateway for Vaishnavas.
Actually, Haigreva Avatar, actually, who tells that 1 lakh version of the Ramayana. So from Hayagriva, Narada inspires Valmiki. From there, in the written form, Ramayana came out. So as per the Vaishnava philosophy, and also I just shared the Puranas in the group, WhatsApp group. I just shared an analogy about the different Puranas. So we have different Puranas for the people who are in different modes, like predominant modes of nature. So they also follow these scriptures according to their modes of worship, because so they also need to be in the path of bhakti. But eventually there will be like, based on their modes, they approach those Puranas, they follow those deity worship, and they indirectly they take long route, I would say, right? So as the Prabhupada said, the elevator route and on the staircase route, right? So similarly that people in Sattvic mode, they follow the Sattvic Puranas, and Bhagavatam is the supreme one of them. And then other Puranas the categorization, there is a categorization based on what mode which Puranas people will refer, right? Those Puranas are also intentionally written by Vyasadeva on the aspect, on the
As for the modes of material
God.
nature.
Yeah, so that those people who are in those modes, they will
Can
pursue the
pursue the path of some
Devotion.
activities in terms of devotion, indirect devotion.
So it was intentional because people will be influenced by material modes, and because that they are destined to come. So they still follow devotion, but because of their attachment to that mode, they will follow that particular devotion process. And it was also discussed by Shiva to Parvati Devi, one of the Purana. It was told. So Lord Shiva mentions, out of all worships, Vishnu worship is the supreme.
Yes, right, correct.
So yeah, I have a short
Right,
video. I'll just share.
Mhm.
Immediately I'm not able to get.
Right.
So those Puranas were bring intentionally, like Rajasic Puranas or Tamasic Puranas are also intentionally brought so that it will be influencing the people in the modes of nature, because who are destined to influenced by those modes. When they endeavor and come to path of loving devotional service, then slowly raise to the Sattvic, because people who are in Lord Shiva worship, when they come to that Nishkama Karma Yoga, like when they start coming out of material gains and come to like without expecting anything, when they come to the devotion process, they slowly get introduced to Sattvic mode of devotion, and then they introduce to Krishna consciousness, or Vishnu Tattva is being introduced, and out of them the supreme is Krishna consciousness. Like that, so the knowledge and bhakti will be revealed to the living entities as and when they progress their their process, and they will be enlightened slowly. Like that's what the different lectures were.
Yeah, Prabhu, I maybe if you can share the source, that will be helpful. But I just wanted to add a couple of lines of my understanding. Each of the Purana talks about various examples, illustrations, how the Devata has moved their devotees out of this like material nature. I don't think some Puranas are like Tamasic or some Puranas are Rajasic. All of them are about Sattvic Bhakti. But I could be wrong. I want to look at the source of your interpretation, Prabhu. In each of the Purana, it tells how the Bhagavan or Devi has helped move out of the material nature to spiritual nature. And for Vyasadeva, it is true that like for his heart has satisfied only after Bhagavatam he has written. But I believe it doesn't mean anything to other Puranas.
Not at the same level. So we have the levels in liberation also. All the liberation will not be the same. So that is also there. Yeah, I gave the reference, Prabhu, in the chat, and also I'll share the other video that I'm talking. And
So there are 4 modes of liberation, like some Saloka, Sayujya,
Five
and
more.
other 2.
Five.
So 5. So in each of the Purana, all 5 are mentioned. So
Krishna Purana is also there, Prabhu. Like I'll share you in Bhagavatam, it was mentioned in the description. Like when you call a scripture as Purana, the Puranas are also like we have 18 Puranas and 18 Sub-Puranas.
Upapuranas. Yeah.
So when you call a scripture as a Purana, like they need to discuss about 10 aspects.
Yes.
Count, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So they talk about how the universe is came
True.
but and like those aspects need to be discussed. And yeah, so when it is described, that will be called as a Purana. So yeah, all
Yes.
Puranas written by same person. Then why only Srimad Bhagavatam is?
Srimad Bhagavatam is the ultimate because it is the last Purana he has wrote, and he wrote from instruction from Narad Muni that he has to he has to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that
Yes,
he
yes,
done in any of the Puranas.
Yeah, just wanted to add, Prabhu, how to be interpreted. It is true for Vyasadeva and for his enlightenment. That was the situation, but he doesn't distinguish this Purana is higher or this Purana is lower. That's one aspect. And also, like the same question will be there in Kashi Kandam of Skanda Puranam. Like someone asks Vyasadeva that who is the Supreme Personality? He tells Narayana. Then they ask him to come to Kashi and tell. And he comes to Kashi and tells it, and then he gets frozen. Nandi tells that no, Shiva is the highest. Then Lord Narayana comes to rescue of Vyasadeva and then tells the greatness of Shiva. And Vyasadeva lives in Kashi itself. Then in a way he has to move out of Kashi because of a Leela of Shiva. So I think Vyasadeva has pointed in every Purana that don't look at the Bhedam of Hari and Hara. I think that gets omitted by many folks, leading to the situation, I feel. But yeah, this is my limited understanding, Prabhu. I'm
So I
all
think
learning.
that's why I'm telling you that you should read this verse. Nimnanam yatha Ganga, Devanam Machutyo yatha, Vaishnavanam yatha Shambho, Purananam midam tatha. So that means Prabhupada, like in the Bhagavatam, it says, just as the Ganga is the greatest of all rivers, Lord Achyuta is the supreme among deities, Lord Shambhu is the greatest of all Vaishnavas, so Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Puranas. And
Agree,
it,
Prabhu.
this
All I
is
just
verse-
wanted to add.
this is a verse that Vasudev wrote, right?
Yes,
This is
Prabhu.
not a
I will
verse,
show you other Vasudev's verse where he says that Shiva is everything. So, like, we
but
have
that,
to look at the context.
but that Purana also returned before the Srimad Bhagavatam, right?
No, after see these Puranas, I don't think you can give a timeline, Prabhu. They also tell future, they also tell past, they also tell present.
So
Vyasudev, he is like not. We
if
should
you
not
read
look at linear
the
version.
first canto of Bhagavatam, it says that Vasudev wrote 4 Vedas and 18 Puranas. And he thought his work is done now, but he is not very happy.
True, Prabhu.
And then Naradji came saying, you still have one thing remaining to glorify the Krishna. Once you do it, your work on this planet or of your this activity of writing is done.
Yes,
And
yes, Prabhu.
then he wrote so Srimad Bhagavatam as the last Purana.
Yeah, all I am adding, Prabhu, is like for that is for the Vyasadev's personal fulfillment.
All the Puranas are written by Vasudev, right?
Yes. So to Vyasadev's fulfillment, he has to complete that with the Bhagavatam. But I don't think that is the interpretation for everyone.
So, Prabhu, like for example, Vedas, if you say that Vedas are superior than Bhagavatam, then that is a lower understanding. The highest understanding is Bhagavatam. Why? Because Bhagavatam glorifies the Lord Krishna, who is the ultimate truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But now, if one says in Shiva Purana is the ultimate truth and not Bhagavatam.
Shiva Purana is also written by Buddha.
Yeah.
Prabhu, if I can add a little thing before your explanation, Vedas are ultimate truth for everyone and any day. Even like in this Bhagavatam purport, Srila Prabhupada also many times mentioned this. But Bhagavatam came to make it simple, make it reachable for everyone. Vedas are not for everyone. So Bhagavatam is for everyone, for all of us. That's how I look at it, Prabhu.
Bhagavatam,
Bhagavatam didn't tell anything new beyond what Vedas has put, but it made it simpler for everyone to understand and follow and get the access to Bhagavan.
So, what I understand from Madhavchandra Prabhu's class is in Veda, there are Smruti and Shruti. The Smruti is Shruti is a philosophy, I think, and
No, Prabhu. Veda is Shruti only. Smruti is like written texts
Purana.
of after. Smruti comes. Puranas comes as Smruti. Yes.
Right. So, in the philosophy, it's like a Bhagavad Gita, right? So when philosophy has been discussed, it's mainly Veda has described how one should live the life in this material world. They never talk about the spiritual world, how one should get elevated to do the proper karma so that one can elevate their consciousness to achieve the highest goal of the life. So, and Veda describes all this like karma kanda as well as various activities.
There are two parts to Vedas, Prabhu. One is Karma Kanda, is what you're describing. There is called as Jnana Kanda, which tells philosophical aspects. Vedanta comes under this, which talks about spiritual world and how to unwind ourselves from the material world.
Yes, correct. So,